The sin of Achan. Maliit kung tutuusin compared to the size of the nation, but it had national, global, and even now universal effects. What was Israel's invitation to defeat? Pinag-usapan natin, series, chain of victories. Parang secure na sila, malakas, makapangyarihan, parang lahat, pwede na. But then there was an invitation to defeat. We should remember, first and foremost, Joshua 6:18 to 19, yung mga nakaraan nating pag-aaral, ibinilin sa kanila ng Panginoon, pag sinakop nyo na at pinasok nyo ang Jericho, tatandaan nyo ang bilin na ito, Joshua 6:18 to 19. But keep away from the devoted things. So you will not bring about your own destruction by taking any of them. Otherwise, you will make the camp of Israel liable to destruction and bring trouble on it. All the silver and gold and the articles of bronze and iron and are sacred to the Lord and must go into his treasury. And Joshua 7:1, but the Israelites acted unfaithfully in regard to the devoted things. Achan, son of Carmi, the son of Zimri, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took some of them. So the Lord's anger burned against Israel. So ano pong nangyari? Bumagsak ang mga walls ng Jericho, sinugod nila, at wala silang itinira sa mga bili ng Panginoon. Nanalo, nagwagi sila, but one of them, it took just one of them, Achan took some of the devoted things for himself. Ipinakabilin-bilin na ng Lord ang mga gold, mga silver, mga bronze, associated with worship, with religion, yung makikita nyo sa kanilang mga worship places, sa mga dambana, mga templo, huwag nyong pagnanasaan, ang lahat yan ay dapat tumuloy sa temple treasury, dapat yan they are devoted to, and they should be given to God. But si Achan, nangupit, itinago niya yung ilang mga nakita niya na mga precious things that were supposed to be dedicated to the Lord. So the Lord's anger burned against Israel. Nagalit ang Diyos. Ang kamangha-mangha dito, dapat nating pansinin, isang tao lang ang gumawa, ang buong bayan na pahamak. God's anger burned against the whole nation. Sabi sa verse 1, the Israelites acted unfaithfully. Samantalang si Achan lang yung gumawa. Sapagkat sa pamilya ng Diyos, tulad ng sa lahat ng pamilya, ang situation ay damay-damay. Hindi pwedeng gumawa ka ng mali na hindi nadadamay ang iyong mga mahal sa buhay. What were the sins of Achan that was charged against the whole nation? Coveting, disobedience, and stealing from God. Because there was an invitation to the defeat, therefore there is a defeat. So let's take a look at that, the defeat. Joshua 7, verses 2 up to 6. Now Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is near Beth-aven, to the east of Bethel, and told them, go up and spy out the region. So the men went up and spied out Ai. When they returned to Joshua, they said, not all people will have to go up against Ai. Send 2,000 or 3,000 men to take it, and do not weary all the people, for only a few men are there. So, about 3,000 men went up, but they were routed by the men of Ai, who killed about 36 of them. They chased the Israelites from the city gate as far as the stone quarries, and struck them down on the slopes. At this, the hearts of the people melted and became like water. Then Joshua tore his clothes and fell face down to the ground before the ark of the Lord, remaining there till evening. The elders of Israel did the same and sprinkled dust on their heads. So, ano po nangyari? Matagumpay ang kanilang mga campaign. Kinatatakutan na sila ng lahat ng mga tao dun sa region na kanilang sasakupin. Nauna na sa kanila yung kanilang reputation as victorious, as powerful, as blessed by God. Now, meron pang next gera, much, much smaller than the fight that awaited them at Jericho. Into the inner parts of the country, papasok na sila, pero maliit lang naman yung pupuntahan nilang town is called Ai. So spies were sent to the town of Ai. It was not a city, it was just a town. Ano ang findings? Only a few men are there. Small time, kayang-kaya. Recommendation, send only 2,000 or 3,000 men. Huwag nang pagurin pa ang buong hukbo, magpadala na lang ng token delegation sapagkat napakaliit naman ng bayan. So about 3,000 men were sent. What else happened? Lo and behold, they were driven away with a few men of Ai. And as a result, 36 Israelites were killed. Mula nung nag-umpisa yung kanilang chain of successful campaigns, bigla sila ngayong natalo. Meron pang 36 na namatay. Yung keliit-liit na bayan na pagtagumpayan sila, naitaboy, hinabol, sila naman ay umatras, nakakahiya, at isang malaking pampasira ng loob. So, what was the result of the defeat? Nasiraan ang loob ang Israelites. Yan ang naging bunga. Joshua 7:5. Blah, 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 who killed about 36 of them. So namatay. They chased the Israelites from the city gate as far as the stone quarries and struck them down on the slopes. At this, the hearts of the people melted and became like water. Sa atin, nasiraan ng loob. Mahirap yung nasisiraan ng loob. Kasi pag nasiraan ng yung loob, kasunod ng matatalo, yung lahat ng panglabas. Kahit ka pa naka-armor, kahit ka pa may mga armas, pag sira na ang loob, wala na. Let's read on. Joshua 7:6-9. Then Joshua tore his clothes and fell face down to the ground before the ark of the Lord, remaining there till evening. The elders of Israel did the same and sprinkled dust on their heads. And Joshua said, "Ah, sovereign Lord, why did you ever bring this people across the Jordan to deliver us into the hands of the Amorites, to destroy us? If only we had been content to stay on the other side of the Jordan. O Lord, what can I say? Now that Israel has been routed by its enemies, the Canaanites and the other people of the country will hear about this, and they will surround us and wipe out our name from the earth. What then will you do for your own great name?" So anong ginawa ng mga tao? Joshua and the elders mourned. Nagluksa, naglungkot, nag-iyakan, nagpatira pa sa harap ng Diyos. At ano pa? Joshua questioned God. Ganito lang pala po ang mangyayari sa amin. Bakit niyo pa kami pinayagan na makatawid ng ilog? Na kontento na sana kami dun sa kabila na lang. Nagati-hati na lang kami sa kaprasong property. Bakit pa kailangan tumawid dito para lang matalo? O ngayon po, nabalitaan na nung iba pa, nakakaharapin pa namin na pwede naman pala kaming talunin kahit ng konti lang. E di lalakas na ang loob nila. Baka hindi na sila maghintay na pumunta kami sa kanila. Sugurin pa kami, mabura kami sa balat ng lupa. At kayo po, Lord, paano ang pangalan nyo? Dinadamay kayo, mapapahiyarin kayo because we are your people. What was the Lord's prescription to the defeat? So may nire-raise na question, may prescription si Lord. Joshua 7:10-15. The Lord said to Joshua, "Stand up. What are you doing on your face? Israel has sinned. They have violated my covenant, which I commanded them to keep. They have taken some of the devoted things. They have stolen. They have lied. They have put them with their own possessions. That is why the Israelites cannot stand against their enemies. They turn their backs and run because they have been made liable to destruction. I will not be with you anymore unless you destroy whatever among you is devoted to destruction. Go, consecrate the people. Tell them, consecrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow, for this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. That which is devoted is among you, O Israel. You cannot stand against your enemies until you remove it. In the morning, present yourselves tribe by tribe. The tribe that the Lord takes shall come forward clan by clan. The clan that the Lord takes shall come forward family by family. And the family that the Lord takes shall come forward man by man. He who is caught with the devoted things shall be destroyed by fire. Along with all that belongs to him, he has violated the covenant of the Lord and has done a disgraceful thing in Israel. So anong payo ng Diyos para malutas ang problema? Sabi niya kay Joshua, stop fretting. Itigil ang drama. Drama ka ng drama. Sabi niya sa verse 10, the Lord said to Joshua, stand up! What are you doing down on your face? Ngalngal ka ng ngalngal dyan, iyak ka ng iyak. Hindi yan ang solusyon. Sabi ni Lord, expose the real problem. That will be the solution. There is sin in the camp. Hindi ito madadaan sa ngoy. Hindi ito madadaan sa mga dramang bukid. Kailangan bumangon ka dyan at gawin mo ang tama. Hanapin mo ang nagkamali. Israel has sinned, violated the covenant, and stole and lied. Ninanakawan ninyo ako. Alam niyo ba ayaw na Diyos na ninanakawan siya? Ninanakawan niyo ako. Sinabi na ang mga bagay na ito para sa temple, para sa akin, may nangupit. So what happened? God is angered. Kala ba natin hindi siya marunong magalit? Marunong magalit ang Diyos. So Israel has sinned, God is angered, Israel has been made subject to destruction as a result. And because of that, God's presence and God's favor will no longer be with Israel unless justice is done. Ang bunga ng pagkakamaling ito, Israel could not stand against the enemies without correction first. Sabi ni Lord, huwag niyo nang asahan na mananalo pa kayo sa kahit anong giyera na mangyayari. Liba na lang, ituwid niyo muna ang isang malaking kalikuan na ito. And the Lord says, identify and destroy the offender. So, paano daw i-identify? Ipapatawag ang mga tao. Ang buong bayan i-assemble. No? At sabi, ang tribe, kasi 12 tribes sila, ang ituro ng Panginoon na tribe, ihiwalay. Clan by clan, i-present sa Lord. Ang ituro niyang clan, ihiwalay. Family by family, haharap sa Lord. Ang ituro niyang family, ihiwalay. Tao por tao, individual, haharap sa Lord. At ituturo niya kung sino ang may kasalanan. Drama, no? Talagang drama. Joshua 7:16-18. Kinabukasan. Early the next morning, Joshua had Israel come forward by tribes, and Judah was taken. Nasa tribo pala ng Judah. So yung 11, rest. Manood na lang kayo sa mangyayari. The spotlight focuses on the tribe of Judah. The clans of Judah came forward, and he took the Zerahites. Yung clan ni Zerah, ang may kasalanan. Tabi na yung ibang clan, audience. He had the clan of the Zerahites come forward by families, and the family of Zimri was taken. O, pamilya na, yung ibang pamilya, tabi na, matira na lang tong isang pamilya ni Zimri. No? Joshua had his family come forward. At tagaroon pala si Joshua sa pamilyang yon. No? Ang lapit. No? Joshua had his family come forward, man by man. And Achan, son of Carmi, the son of Zimri, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, was taken. Buong bayan, ipiniharap muna. Siguro yung mga clan-clan, pag nagkakaharapan, bulungan. Kakaba. Siguro hindi naman. Kasi, kayo, kumusta kayo? So, Achan was identified. And so was his whole tribe. Nakita nyo? Pag ang tao nagkakasala, nadadamay ang kanyang buong angkan. The tribe was Judah, the clan was that of Zerah, the family was that of Zimri, and the man was Achan, son of Carmi. Pati tuloy tatay niya, nakaladkad yung pangalakan. Di ba pag may nagkakamali, kanino bang anak yan? Pagka mayroong mga lamay at may mga batang sobrang magugulo, kanino bang anak yan? Yun agad ang itinatanong. Sino ba ang magulang nito mga batang ito? Talagang madadamay ang mga magulang. Let's keep on reading. Joshua 7, verse 19. Then Joshua said to Achan, my son, give glory to the Lord, the God of Israel, and give him the praise. Tell me what you have done. Do not hide it from me. Achan was confronted. Yun ang dapat ginagawa nitong si Joshua, hindi nagngangangal-ngal. Hanapin niya yung problema. And then Joshua 7:20-21, Achan replied, "It is true." Siyempre, bisto na. Alam nga namang sabihin pa niyang hindi, ano? Pero sabi niya, "It is true. I have sinned against the Lord." At ngayon palang naisip. "I have sinned against the Lord, the God of Israel. That is what I have done. When I saw, parang may echo, ha? When I saw in the plunder a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful robe from Babylonia, 200 shekels of silver and a wedge of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them and took them. They are hidden in the ground inside my tent with the silver underneath." So, what happened? Wala na siyang choice. Achan confessed. "It is true," sabi niya, "I have sinned." Inantay pang mabuko bago umamin. Sabi niya, "When I saw," kaya kanina may echo, no? May echo. Kasi alam niyo ba, most of the time, the eyes are the first to leave the Lord. So sabi nga nung isang kanta sa hula, keep your eyes where they belong. Sabi niya, when you go about the island, their eyes are tantalizing, di ba? Keep your eyes where they belong. Dapat talaga, nakatingin ka na lamang kung saan ka dapat tumingin, huwag dun sa mga tukso. At sabi, it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Siyempre, alangan man kung pangit, matukso ka. Kaya yung mga magaganda, mag-ingat na huwag kayong maging tukso. At pag may dumadaang maganda, Diyos ko, tulungan niyo po ako. Hindi yung tingin ka ng tingin, kasi pag napapatingin, napapalingon at muling napapatingin, mamaya, susunod-sunod ka na siyempre. The eyes are the first to leave the Lord. So inamin niya, when I saw, I coveted and took. Yan ang problema sa coveting. Ang kasunod, you will take. Sabi niya, they're all hidden in the ground under my tent. Meron ng pattern yung kasalanan na yan eh. Nung una pa man, sa panahon ni Lolo Adan at Lola Eva, Genesis 3:6. Ito yung si Satanas. Sabi niya, huy, Eva, babae, lumapit ka. No? Ito ang prutas. Maganda ito, masarap. When the woman saw, yan na naman yung I saw, no? Saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye. Maganda eh, ha? And also desirable for gaining wisdom. She took, no? Some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. So, titingin, magagandahan, maaakit, pipitas. Be careful about what you look at. Be careful about what you take or what you eat. Diyan nag-uumpisa ang dilubyo. Yung parang hello, such a simple way to start a love affair. Mga hello-hello lang yan. Ang umpisa, biro-biro ang simula, ang wakas pala ay ito. Ganyan. Huwag kayo sabing maliit lang naman yan, konti lang yan. Sasabihin ng asawa nyo, huwag kang mag-alala, walang kwenta yun. Anong walang kwenta? Ang lahat ng may kwenta ay nag-uumpisa dyan sa walang kwenta na yan. Kaya dapat, habang wala pang kwenta, sugpuin na. Kasi lumalaki. Joshua 7:22-24. So Joshua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and there it was, hidden in his tent with the silver underneath. They took the things from the tent, brought them to Joshua and all the Israelites, and spread them out before the Lord. Then Joshua, together with all Israel, took Achan, son of Zerah, the silver, the robe, the gold wedge, his sons and daughters, his cattle, donkeys, and sheep, his tent, and all he had to the valley of Achor. So Achan's plunder was unearthed, exposed, taken with him, his family, and all other persons to the valley of Achor. Achor means trouble. So this is the valley of trouble. Let's read on. Joshua 7:25-26. Joshua said, "Why have you brought this trouble on us?" Oo nga naman, nadamay ang lahat. "The Lord will bring trouble on you today." Then all Israel stoned him. And after they had stoned the rest, they burned them. Over Achan, they heaped up a large pile of rocks, which remains to this day. Then the Lord turned from his fierce anger. Therefore, That place has been called the Valley of Acre ever since. So Achan was judged, was stoned, and burned together with all his family. Lahat. Inubos, nilipol. Ngayon, kung naawa kayo, mas mabait pa kayo sa Diyos? Anong gusto niyong palabasin? Bakit ang Diyos hindi naawa ako, naawa? So mas banal ako kaysa sa Diyos. Mag-ingat-ingat kayo na inyong mga iniisip. No? Ang Diyos ang nagbigay ng buhay, kung gusto niyang bawiin, kanya rin yon. Hindi yon masama. Ang masama, ikaw na binigyan lang ng buhay, babawi ka ng buhay na hindi naman ikaw may bigay, kundi Diyos. Yun ang masama. Pero kung Diyos ang nagbigay, Diyos ang bumawi, glory to God. Huwag niyo sabihin, bakit naman gano'n ng Diyos? Kasi ang ibig sabihin lang nun, mas mabuti ka kaysa sa Diyos. Kaya binabantayan natin ang ating iniisip. So Achan was judged, stoned, and burned. And because justice was done, the Lord turned from his anger. What can we conclude from this story? Personal sin affects the whole camp. At dahil hindi na tayo campers ngayon, tayo yung mga Christians, personal sin affects the whole church. Ecclesiastes 10:1, as dead flies give perfume a bad smell, so a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor. Di po ba? Kahit maghapon buong buhay tayong gumawa ng mabuti, minsang kang gumawa ng isang kababalaghan, natakpan na, natabunan na, gumuhuna ang iyong mga kabutihan. Sabi, kahit isang tapayang pabango, isang langaw lang ang maglanding dyan. Mawawala ang halimuyak, babaho ang lahat. Kaya iba nagsasabi, nakagawa lang ko na masama, nilimot na lahat ng mabuti kong ginawa. Yun nga sa dami ng buti mong ginawa, i-maintain mo dapat. Mas mag-ingat ka. Mas marami kang nagawang mabuti, mas pag-ingatan mo kasi mas malaki yung maputing tabing, mas nakikita yung kaprasong dumi. Of course, we should not be judgmental to each other. But it was God who judged God ang may utos. Pero tayo, tayong judgmental sa kapwa. Pero itong specific case na to, inutos to na ma-identify because the whole camp was being affected. Mga kapatid, bago tayo bumigay sa tukso, bago tayo bumigay sa mga tawag ng kasalanan, isipin nyo naman ang nanay nyo, ang tatay nyo, ang asawa nyo, ang mga anak nyo, ang mga pinsan nyo, ang lolo nyo, lola nyo, damay sila. Kung hindi malaki ang pagpapahalaga natin sa ating sarili, handa na tayong ipaghampas-hampasan sa lahat ng sulok ng misericordia ang ating karangalan. Pero isipin naman natin, hindi natin kayang gawin mag-isa na hindi nadadamay ang mga mahal natin sa buhay. Kung meron dyan ng mga unmarried women na okay lang sa kanila na magpagulong-gulong kung saan-saan na lang at bigla na lang nagiging unwed mother at dahil sabihin nyo, wala akong pakialam sa mundo, bakit ako mahihiya? Pero ipagmakahiya nyo naman yung mga kamag-anak nyong nahihiya. Hindi kayo nag-iisa sa buhay. Meron tayong pananagutan sa isa't isa. Hindi natin pwedeng sirain ang ating sarili na hindi nadadamay ang lahat na nagmamahal sa atin. Therefore, sa church, mahalaga discipline. Kaya may discipline. There must be identification of sin. Ephesians 5:11, have nothing to do with fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Huwag pagtakpan ang mga kasalanan ng kapatiran, dapat itong ibunyag. Ngayon, saan ibinubunyag? Diyan tayo mag-ingat-ingat kasi kadalasan doon tayo nagkakamali kung papaano at saan ibinubunyag. Nagigituloy iskandalo, pinagpepiestahan yung nagkamali, yung nagkasala, yung nadapa. There should be proper medication. What's the medication? When people in the church live erroneously. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, yung hindi nagkasala ako ng kapraso ngayon, nagkasala ako bukas, hindi yon. Yung patuloy, buong tigas ng ulo na nagpapatuloy sa kasalanan. Ito yung pinag-uusapan natin. Hindi yung pamisa-misa lang nadarapa, iba naman yon. It's different to fall into sin once in a while, and it's different to live in sin, to live a lifestyle of wanton and shameless sin. Magkaiba. Matthew 18:15 to 18. If your brother sins against you, go and show him his fault, just between the two of you. If he listens to you, you have won your brother over. But if he will not listen, take one or two others along, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, treat him as you would a pagan or a tax collector. I tell you the truth, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Malalim na mga pangungusap. Sabi, ang disiplinahin nyo dito sa lupa, ino-honor ng langit ang disiplina na yan. Dahil kayo ang church, kayo ang body of the Lord, you have this authority. Ngayon, anong ibig sabihin ng tell it to the church? Kasi kung minsan, nakakarinig tayo ng balita, merong isang babae, ay nangalon niya, biglang ipinulpito, i-display sa buong pulpito, tinawag pa rito, siya po yung nangangalon niya. Kasi sinusunod lang ho natin yung sabi dito sa Matthew chapter 18. Kailangan tell it to the church. Now, magdahan-dahan. Ano ba yung concept ng church nung araw? Nung mga panahon na ito, ang mga Hudyo ay naging Kristiyano, hindi pa nila malaman kung anong gagawin nila sa Christianity. Mananatili ba silang Hudyo? O ibang relihiyon na ba talaga itong Christianity? Therefore, hindi sila makapag-meet, makapag-Bible study, makapag-pray dun sa temple o synagogue kasi hindi na sila Jew. Hindi na Judaism yung relihiyon nag-iba na. Si Jesus na tinanggihan ng temple, yun ngayon yung savior ng Christian. So, hindi na sila pwedeng mag-meet in the temple or in the synagogues. Meanwhile, hindi pa na-develop masyado yung Christianity, so wala pa silang mga churches, wala pa silang mga lugar. So, saan-saan sila ngayon nagtatagpo? Sa bahay-bahay. At dahil kolorum pa ito at kulto pa ang tawag, maliliit na grupo, pinapersecute pa sila, so lihim ang mga meeting. So, the church means a house church. A house church that would usually have only members of the family as churchgoers. Yung clan lang nila, sila magkakapatid, sila magpipinsan, konti lang sila, mga 15, 18, ganyan lang sila karami. In other words, ang sinasabi dito, pag merong member kayo dyan na nagkakasala, patuloy na nagkakasala, kausapin nyo ng tahimik. Pagka ayaw makinig, magdala pa kayo ng 1, 2 witness para may magsabi pa at saka baka baligtarin kayo niyan. Alam nyo kung yung mga counselee, binabaligtad yung counselor. Kaya ngayon, ayoko mag-counsel ng walang saksi. Meron pa kasi sabi, huy, bakit kayo namumuhay sa pangangalo niya? Pinayagan na ho kami ni pastor. Ha? Ano ang pastor? Siya ang Diyos. Pwede na dahil pinayagan. Babaligtarin ka pa kumisan ng mga yan, ang counsel mo. No? So, sabi, magdala ka ng mga witness para hindi ka mabaligtad. At pagkatapos, kung ayaw pa makinig, tell it to the church. Now, gaano karaming member ng church? 15, 18, sila rin yon. At saka kahit hindi mo man officially sabihin, alam na rin nila dahil magkakamag-anak kayo. Kayo lang ang tao. In other words, yung tell it to the church, hindi na scandalize to great proportions. Hindi naman yung, pati hindi nakakaalam, nalaman patuloy. Ano ngayon ang pakialam nyo? Hindi naman talaga siya kilala, hindi naman involved sa inyong pamilya. Anong kabutihan na malaman nyo pa yon? Mabuti ko ipapanalangin nyo, pero 100% pagchichismisan ang babaeng ito. Hindi makakatulong, makakasira lalo, kaya mali ang paggamit ng iba dito sa tell it to the church. So paano tayo ngayon? 3,000 people come to worship on a Sunday morning. Sino ngayon yung church? Dapat kung meron lang nung makaalam, yung immediate Sunday school teacher niya, yung nasa choir siya, yung choir director niya, yung pastor, na puro makakatulong lang sa kanya at mag-aalaga sa kanya. Hindi para ibunyag, ilagay sa bulletin board at hanggang sa kabilang fellowship, sa kabilang kanto, pinag-uusapan na rin. Nawawala sa context yung paggamit. Hindi na solve ang problema, nasa-sensationalize, and everybody becomes a sinner by gossiping. Pero kailangan may disiplina. Hindi pwedeng wala. At ang isa sa mga disiplina, isolation. Di ba yung may sakit kailangan isolate? ICU ito. Ano bang sakit? Nakakahawa. Lalong i-isolate. Di ba? Sobrang makalakas makahawa, i-isolate. 1 Corinthians 5:9-11. I have written you in my letter not to associate with sexually immoral people. Not at all meaning the people of this world who are immoral or the greedy and swindlers or idolaters. In that case, you would have to leave this world. But now, I am writing you that you must not associate with anyone who calls himself a brother but is sexually immoral or greedy. an idolater, or a slanderer, a drunkard, or a swindler. With such a man, do not even eat. Hindi pa nagbabago itong salita ng Diyos. Effective pa yan ngayon. Sabi, huwag kayong nakikisalamuha sa mga nabubuhay sa kasalanan. At sabi ni Paul, lilinawin ko lang ha, ang tinutukoy ko, hindi yung mga taga-sanglibutan, hindi yung mga tagalabas, kasi kung hindi kayo makikisalamuha sa kanila, lumipat na kayo sa Pluto. Kasi lahat ng mga tagalabas, ina-expect natin, hindi katakataka na may ganun sila. So hindi yan ang pinag-uusapan na iiwasan, kasi pag ginawa nyo yun, iiwasan nyo ang buong humanity. Sabi niya, ang tinutukoy, yung brother and sister, tapos kalaguyo. Yung brother and sister, tapos nabubuhay sa kasalanan, yun ang iwasan nyo. Kasi ang pakikasalamuha niya sa kanya is as good as endorsement and acceptance of the lifestyle. Hiwalayan yan, hindi dahil galit tayo sa kanya, kundi para malaman niya na meron siyang dapat baguhin sa kanyang buhay, at para sa tingin ng tagalabas, malaan nila na hindi natin tinotolerate ang ganitong uri ng pamumuhay. Sabi, huwag kayong sasabay sa kanilang kumakain ng ukoy. Do not even eat with them. Sabi ko na, malinaw yan. 2 Thessalonians 3:14-15. If anyone does not obey our instruction in this letter, take special note of him. Do not associate with him in order that he may feel ashamed. Baligtad ang nangyayari kumisan ngayon. Magkakabarkada, pare-pareho kasing singer, quintet. No? So nagtatakipan. Hindi dapat ganon. Dapat sabihin, doon sa nakakataas, kahit konti lang yon para ma-solve ang problema. Meron pang isang disiplina, baka gusto to ng iba. Delivery to Satan. Kala nyo biro? 1 Corinthians 5:1-5. It is actually reported that there is sexual immorality among you, and of a kind that does not occur even among pagans. A man has his father's wife, and you are proud. Shouldn't you rather have been filled with grief and have put out of your fellowship the man who did this? Even though I am not physically present, Paul is writing, I am with you in spirit, and I have already passed judgment on the one who did this, just as if I were present. When you are assembled in the name of the Lord Jesus, and I am with you in spirit, and the power of our Lord Jesus is present, hand this man over to Satan, so that the sinful nature may be destroyed, and his spirit saved on the day of the Lord. So, i-deliver ka Satan. Special delivery. Huwag magpaisip-isip pa. 1 Timothy 1:19-20. Holding on to faith and a good conscience, some have rejected this, and so have secret their faith. Among them are Hymenaeus and Alexander, whom I have handed over to whom? To Satan, to be taught not to blaspheme. Sabi, ang titikas ng ulo ng mga yan, i-deliver ka Satan. Paano nyo ginagawa yon? Just stop praying for people. Remove the protective umbrella of prayer, and you already expose them from the wiles of the wicked one. When your pastor doesn't pray for you, nanganganib kayo. When your spiritual leader doesn't cover you with prayer, nanganganib kayo. It's as good as being delivered to Satan. So ano pa? Matigas pa rin ang ulo. Ayaw pa rin. Expulsion is the next step. 1 Corinthians 5:1-2. It is actually reported that there is sexual immorality among you, and of a kind that does not occur even among pagans. So inuulit lang natin. A man has his father's wife, and you are proud. Shouldn't you rather have been filled with grief and have put out of your fellowship the man who did this? So meron talaga ine-expel. Utos yan. Wala tayong right na ibahin yan dahil tayo maawain o mahabagin. Pag ayaw makinig, ginawa na ng church ang lahat, ayaw pa rin, expel the person. Because the church is holy. Hindi naman ibig sabihin tayo dito sinless, no? Pinag-iiba natin yung falling into sin once in a while at yung having a sinful lifestyle. Magkaiba yun. Kuminsan, nagsaserve pa kay Lord together. Magkasama pa sa mga misyon, mga committee. Meron naman palang ungodly relationship ang dalawang ito dahil hindi naman sila dapat magkasama. Sinangkalan pa ang Diyos at ang church, kumuha pa ng validation from the church sa kanilang karimari-marim na mga ginagawa. Mas doble ang mga parusa sa ganyang mga bagay. 1 Corinthians 5:12-13, what business is it of mine to judge those outside the church? Are you not to judge those inside? God will judge those outside. Expel the wicked man from among you. Ano pa? Matthew 18:17. If he refuses to listen, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, treat him as you would a pagan or a tax collector. So ano po nakikita natin dito? The Lord is serious about keeping the dignity of His church. At kung talagang all else fail, go to the final solution, death penalty. Acts 5:3-5. Naka-assemble yung church. Collection time. Then Peter said, Ananias, nandaya kasi itong si Ananias ng kanyang offering. How is it that Satan has so filled your heart that you have lied to the Holy Spirit and have kept for yourself some of the money you received for the land? Nagbenta kasi sila ng lupa at ang promise, ibibigay yung income doon sa church. Didn't it belong to you before it was sold? And after it was sold, wasn't the money at your disposal? What made you think of doing such a thing? You have lied, not to men, but to God. When Ananias heard this, he fell down and died. A great fear seized all who heard what had happened. Kalahati pa lang yan ang storya. Several hours later, dumating ang asawa, si Sapphira. Sabi ni Peter, Sapphira, totoo ba yung sinabi ni Ananias kanina na ang income nyo lang ganito? Opo, totoo. Isa ka pa. O ayan na, dumating na yung naglibing sa asawa mo. Die, please, at nang mailibing ka na. And she fell and died. Do not underestimate the authority given to the church. Do not underestimate the authority given to the church government. Huwag niyong bibiruin ang church ni Lord. Huwag niyong bibiruin ang mga pinamamahalan ni Lord sa kanyang church. The New Testament is so recent. Sabi ni Lord, heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will not pass away. Not a dot, not a comma, not an iota will pass away. What was true then is still true now. Pero sasabihin ng iba, ba't ako nandadaya, buhay pa? Marami na kasi ngayong paraan ng kamamatayan. Hindi lang physical. Yung ang buhay mo ang gulo-gulo, para ka na rin patay. Yung kahit anong pagsisikap mo, kulang at kulang pa rin, para ka na rin hindi nagsisikap. Yung lahat ng ginagawa mo, kulang, wala kang mahanap na kaligayahan, kapayapaan, hindi pa para ka na rin patay nun. Maraming levels ang katotohanan. Maraming mukha at anyo ang katotohanan. Baka marami na tayong mga kamatayang ikinamatay na di natin napapansin sapagkat hindi tayo physically namamatay. Hebrews 13:17. Obey your leaders and submit to their authority. They keep watch over you as men who must give an account. Obey them so that their work will be a joy, not a burden, for that would be of no advantage to you. So sa church, brothers and sisters, sa families, sin is not to be glossed over. Sin is not to be tolerated. Biblical perception must be obeyed. Hindi lang gusto natin, hindi lang yung convenience sa atin, dapat sundin. Therefore, watch for personal sins that can affect the family, the clan, the tribe, the nation, the church. Live responsibly. Hindi tayo nabubuhay para sa sarili lamang. Ang mabubuti nating ginagawa, pinapakinabangan ng ating buong angkan. Ang masasama nating ginagawa, dadalhin din nila. Ganon din sa church. Ganon din sa bayan. Do not cover up sin, but expose sin. Hindi yun naman expose sa pinag-uusapan nyo, yung pag-pray mo naman si ano kasi, o bakit ano? Tapos puro daldala na, chismisan na yung prayer meeting. Yung mga nasa prayer meeting, text na ng text kasi hindi na matiis na hindi masabi doon sa wala sa prayer meeting yung naalaman. Pagkatapos, huy, pag-pray naman natin si ano. Naku, yan ang greatest legitimizer of chismis, yung ipag-pray si ano. Ipinapaalam lang natin ang kasalanan doon sa tao, doon sa nasa leadership hierarchy na makakatulong, makakagamot, makakasugpo, makakadisiplina, hindi natin sinasabi sa ilang members na wala nung ganong kakayahan. Lalo tayo mga Pilipino, hindi natin kaya magdala ng lihim. Because we love sharing. Talaga, bihirang-bihira, yung may sikreto, tas kaya niyan dalhin. Hindi natin yan madala. Talagang parang buhat mo ang Empire State Building. No? Pagka meron, kaya, hoy, may sasabihin ako sa'yo. Sa'yo lang ha. Huwag mo sasabihin sa iba. Talaga, promise, promise. Cross my heart, sabi pa niya. O sige, sasabihin ko to sa'yo. Yung pinagdalan mo ngayon, siya na ngayon ang may dala. Hindi rin niya makaya. So meron siyang, hoy, may sasabihin ako sa'yo. Sa'yo ko lang sasabihin. Bago lumipas ang 24 oras, alam na ng buong barangay. So, huwag kayo naghahanap ng lihim ng kapwa kung di nyo kaya magdala. Ako ayokong malaman. May lihim po ako ipagtatapat. May mga nagte-text pa sa inyo, may kasalanan po ako ipagtatapat. Sa Diyos mo na sabihin. Mahirap magdala ng mga ganyan. Sabihin mo na lang sa akin talaga kung may maitutulong ba ako ngayon kung para lang pagaanin ang loob mo, pwede ba sa mga anghel mo na sabihin? Dahil gumaan ang loob mo, yung loob ko naman ang bumigat. Sa akin mo inilipat yung dala-dala mo. Ang hirap naman talaga magdala. Kaya, dapat talaga, maingat yung mga nakakaalam. So, pag may kasalanan, yung expose them, hindi ibig sabihin, bibisto mo nila kahit saan. Doon lang sa makakatulong. So, we watch. We don't cover up. We expose. But in the right forum. Ayaw natin ng mga ibinubunyag-bunyag mo, hindi naman para ma-solve, kundi para lang mabunyag. Bale, wala yun. Brothers and sisters, we have got to be old-fashioned. We should deal with sin. Hindi pwedeng payagan na ganun lang yun. Glamorized civil society na lang tayo pag hindi tayo nagdi-deal ng sin. Especially for leaders, this is a great challenge in the contemporary setting. So, fathers, tulad ni Achan, father siya watch yourselves. Madadamay ang buo niyong pamilya pag kayo nagkakasala. Mothers din, children din, totoo yan. Mga young people, bago kayo mag-drugs, isipin nyo, darating ang panahon na nakawin nyo ang hikaw ng nanay nyo. Kukupitin nyo ang mga pamalengke niya. Ibebenta nyo ang electric fan nyo. Ang buong pamilya nyo madadamay. Hahanapin kayo sa mga morgue, sa mga ospital, o sa mga presinto. Kung sisirain nyo ang inyong buhay, hindi lamang kayo ang madadamay. Lahat ng nagmamahal sa inyo. Live responsibly. Hindi kayo pwedeng masira na hindi madadamay ang mga may malasakit sa inyo. Avoid the sin of Achan. Iwasan nating kumuha ng hindi atin. Iwasan natin na magkaroon ng mga kaligayahang bawal. Hindi rin para sa atin yon. Mga relasyong bawal, mga habits na hindi para sa atin. Let's bow before the Lord, church. And think about these things. Nalalaman ang salita ng Diyos para sundin. Hindi para maging dekorasyon ng ating utak. Dapat alam natin. Let's have some moments of silence at isipin natin. Lalo yung mga kabataan o hindi na masyadong bata, nagda-drugs pa kayo. May edad na ang inyong mga magulang, dapat nagpapahinga na sila, dapat tayo na ang nag-aalaga sa kanila, tayo na ang kumukupkop. Tapos ang tatanda na ng magulang natin, sila pa ang gumagawa ng paraan para i-rehab, para kahanapin, para katuntunin. Hindi tama yon. Yung mga matatanda are entitled to their rest. But if the children do not behave responsibly, they will be children forever. Inaalagaan, kinakalinga, yung mga magulang hindi na makakapagpahinga. Kailangan tayo maging responsible. Mga pagkakamali ng mga tatay, nadadamay ang buong pamilya. Kung mo sabihin, wala kang pakialam sa akin, meron. Kasi damay kaming lahat. Let's think. Meron bang sin of Achan sa ating pamilya? No wonder, madadamay ang buong pamilya. Hindi dapat magngangal-ngal at iyakan ng iyakan yan, katulad lamang ng ginawa nitong si Joshua. Dapat hanapin ang problema at bunutin ito, masakit man. Dapat itong bunutin. Uproot the problem. It must be dealt with strongly, powerfully, and by the power of God. Isipin natin kung tayo ba yung problema na dapat isolve. At kung ano naman at tayo itong namomroblema sa iba, paano sinasolve? Let's learn that sin must be uprooted, not tolerated. It must be corrected. May the Lord give you wisdom how to learn from this remarkable story.